Nobody knows who I really am. I never felt this empty before. And if I ever need someone to come along, who's gonna comfort me and keep me strong?
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast. Today is a post-mortem episode, a farewell to Swords and a hello to Scalymans. It's the end of Bleach, and we're here to say goodbye.
Scalymans, I mean.
It is, there's also Scalymans who we won't see anymore. So it's me, the best boy, with Endless Jess.
Yeah.
And Gibbo shit. Wrecked.
That's me.
Okay. So, oh man. Okay, so this week, this is a couple days ago, chapter 686 of Bleach released, the end of Bleach, one of the legendary pillars of the shonen scene, Bleach.
It hasn't been legendary for
actually
quite a while.
One Piece. That I forgot Naruto already ended, but Naruto's kind of still going. It's still lumbering along on its disgusting last legs, drawn by assistants, and it looks like a nightmare. I pray that Bleach is wiser and just lets sleeping dogs lie and lets it be buried in peace. Knowing the nature of Shonen Jump, they probably won't, but we'll see. Anyway, so why don't we just first touch on what we thought about the actual ending, and just like these summary chapters, and we could talk about the last arc. We can talk about the legacy and the continuing opinions we had of Bleach as it went on. But to start, I was personally pretty okay with the way things ended. I thought there was pretty much nothing else they could do other than just show this person sexed this person. They had some kids. This is what, like 10 years later, I think. They have some kids rolling around.
Karen has teats.
Karen's got some massive fucking honkers, and it's awesome. She was always the sexiest one.
Why would they ruin a perfectly good lolly by having her age 10 years and giving her tits? It's really disgusting, honestly.
That's a good question.
It makes me sad.
I'm a little tired of the cliche of ending a series with 10 years later, whatever is happening. I don't know. I don't really have a better solution. I just am annoyed that they all do that. Harry Potter did it. Fucking Bleach did it. Just everything in the world does it all the time. Let's be creative, people.
Well, it's because
Avatar did not. Avatar was great. That's exactly how Avatar should have ended.
Well, it's because they spend 700 chapters. They forget to develop the characters throughout the story. So at the very last moment, they're like, "Oh shit! I guess we should do that all at once in the last chapter." Here's 20 years later, they've all got kids.
But nothing amazing happened. Ichigo has married Orihime, and they have a son. We all saw that coming a mile away.
Repulsive,
as soon as I knew,
absolutely repulsive. She was always the worst girl.
We all...
What the hell happened to Tatsuki? Where is Tatsuki?
She's here. She's finally back.
No, she's not.
Finally back.
I want to bring to your attention the fact that... well, first of all, I liked the fact that at the beginning, when Ichigo was getting his powers, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And then all his friends were getting powers, and I was like, oh, cool, they're going to get powers too. And Tatsuki was left out.
And that long-haired dude... God fucking shit. They were supposed to have powers. I know it. And they just didn't get them because he ran out of time. They got screwed, man. They got screwed.
But I was holding out hope that she was just going to be later and something was going to happen that she was finally getting into the mix because she had a really cool character design. I really liked her. And I waited and waited.
Where they just talk about sort of the origins of Chad's and Orihime's powers as Fullbringers. They could have so easily just snuck Tatsuki and that dude in there and just said oh, they got powers too, they're Fullbringers, but he just didn't. Instead we got a bunch of characters that nobody likes.
Tatsuki got the fucking shaft. She's off in a fucking dumpster somewhere shooting up crack.
Speaking of Tatsuki getting the shaft, is she sexing that dude? They're together a lot and they're fighting, which is very Japanese couple-y. I think they're doing the do.
I hope so. I hope she's sexing somebody. I hope she finds some degree of happiness in her now worthless, empty, Ichigo-less life.
Hey, you know who wasn't in this ending chapter?
I just wanted
Where's the red-haired girl who used to grab Orihime's tits? Where is she?
She probably got AIDS.
I liked her.
Lesbian AIDS.
She got it. Yeah, she got lesbian AIDS. That's true.
But yeah, Tatsuki, she completely out of the comic, just not even there.
She was gone for like 200 chapters or
something. And then right on this last chapter, she's in exactly 2 panels. But the thing that really annoys... Yeah, only 2 panels. And the thing that really annoys me is the second panel. There's like a text balloon that's covering her face when there's plenty of room in the top left corner of that panel. She's watching TV.
The last insult, Kubo.
And you can't even fucking see her face. I'm so angry.
Okay, to be a little fair, at least she was in the color spread. That's a nice color spread.
I'm still angry about it.
And she's hidden by... Yeah, she's like, nah, I'm yelling at my boyfriend over there, who I'm obviously in love with. Hey, that dude is there. That cool dude who used to have sex with all the girls. That really short guy. That's cool, I guess. Though I like that Uryu is just like hidden.
Look at Orihime in her fucking gross apron, like a fat old busted mom. She's like 20 years old. She's like she's 50. She's doing that like Asian woman aging thing where they go from 20 to 50 instantly. I hate her.
She looks fine. What are you talking about? She looks fine. She looks happy. She's content. Ichigo became a doctor, dude. He's making that bank.
I've always hated Orihime. She's just tits. She's not a real person.
She really is just tits. Like, remember the whole arc with Ulquiorra and like, oh, I'm developing this like relationship with Ulquiorra, my bodyguard. It's like a weird thing, but I didn't care. I wanted her dead the whole time.
It's not cool.
Tatsuki, I mean, okay, let's just get the elephant out of the room. Ichigo belongs with Rukia. Okay, I understand. Renji and Rukia are a good couple. Ichigo, Orihime's, I'm sure she sexes Ichigo plenty, that's fine. But really, the 10 out of 10 relationship here should have been Ichigo and Rukia.
You know, I don't know. I'm in support of the Rukia and Renji thing because... I mean, Renji has just eaten shit throughout the entire series. You know,
that's true.
It would have just been like one final insult to have him get cucked by Ichigo at the very end. I'm glad he got something.
There's something about the way Renji is designed.
Ichigo does not deserve Rukia, so you're right. Yeah. Renji and Rukia, they belong together. Okay.
Yeah, but there's something about the way Renji was always designed that made him feel like a surrogate main character. Like he was almost the main character guy. In terms of like just design and powers and coolness.
Yeah. Like he would have been the main character if Ichigo hadn't existed, but because Ichigo does exist, Renji just jobs out to everyone constantly.
They're very similar, only Renji is cooler in every way.
Yeah.
You know? He's got cooler tats, he's got sweet glasses.
He's got a fucking snake sword. His fucking sword turns into a whip. What more do you want?
What happened to that baboon guy? There was a baboon. That he turned his sword into a baboon. That was Renji's sword,
but remember how they started doing this thing? God, Bleach fucking sucks.
In the anime, they had that whole filler arc where the swords turned on people. They had to fight their own swords. Yeah, but then his sword wasn't a baboon snake anymore. It was a woman.
Kind of a world is it where a man has to fight his own sword? What have we fallen to, Kubo? What is this hell we're living in?
I thought you were going to say
what
is this world?
Existential nightmare after another.
Wait, what were you saying, Gib?
I thought you were going to say, what does this world come to when a man has to fight his own baboon? Which I thought was a lot funnier.
A baboon with a snake tail.
You can't even trust your own baboon anymore.
It's Planet of the Apes. It all started with Renji's sword. Hey, you know what was great about Bleach? That Rukia got a Bankai, and it was the coolest Bankai ever. She was icy, she was white, she was beautiful, she was pure. Just the fact that Kubo lasted long enough to make that happen makes Bleach worthwhile.
Yeah, and she became a captain. Thank God.
She's captain something. 13, man. Her captain died. That's sad, but he was kind of an asshole anyway. But she's picking up where he left off. Oh, it's great. She became this.
She's getting that fly white coat.
Oh God! And she was blushing. She was so proud, but she was like looking forward to her future. She's got a bright ass future ahead of her, and I can't wait to see it. Oh wait, I won't. It's okay though, because I can imagine it, and that's all I want.
No,
for the end of the series.
You can read the sequel series with their little snot-nosed punk kids.
Wait, is the sequel to Bleach Detergent?
Oh,
is that what it's gonna be?
What do you do with Bleach?
You put it in clothes.
Put it in your
remove
asshole.
The stains. Okay, let's settle this right now. Let's settle this right now for the ages. Why is it called Bleach? Is it because of Ichigo's hair color?
No,
is that what it is?
There was a thing. He said he named it after Nirvana something or other.
Oh, that's right.
There's an album
Can you explain that in a little more detail? I forget.
I don't know. I heard it sometime.
Well, Nirvana's
why is it
first
called
album
Bleach?
was called Bleach. So
and he said he named it
It's
after
named
that.
after Nirvana. Okay, we're done. Let's never bring it up again.
All right. One thing I want to talk about is how the last boss, Yohuach, or whatever he's called.
No one in the world can pronounce that name.
Just fuck Kubo for coming up with that name that no one could ever pronounce.
It's like YWACHK.
There was not even an anime at that point to tell us how to pronounce it, so no one will ever know.
Yeah, that's true.
Why, did the anime end already?
Wait.
Oh,
I forgot that Japan is a superior culture that writes its words phonetically, so I'm going to look it up right now, and we will know exactly how to pronounce it.
I still don't really even know why and how Ichigo won in the end.
I have no idea what happened. Aizen showed up and said, "I tricked you," and then he was like, "Oh shit, I guess you tricked me," and then he died. That was it.
Okay, I'm reading it right now. His name is Oh my god, this isn't even fucking legible. Oh god. Okay, it's Yuhaba. That's what it says.
There's no fucking B in there.
There's a B. It must be the W sound. It's like
Yuhua.
This is fucking ridiculous.
That's silly.
Yuhabaha.
Well, I think it's like some German name or something.
Wait, it's Yuabaha.
Kuwabara.
Whatever. It's retarded. It's the worst name ever. Also, by the way, so this guy was like the man Zangetsu inside Ichigo all along. So
that's so stupid. That makes me mad too.
That was retarded.
When the show started, it's like, yeah, everybody's got their own sword, and the swords have people inside them, and everyone's got, like, his is a fucking baboon, and Ichigo's is like this cool guy with sunglasses standing on a sideways building. That's the coolest shit ever. And then you get like halfway through the series, it's like, no, actually that's not it. He's actually like a Quincy guy, because Ichigo's also a Quincy, and also he's also the main bad guy, and also, I guess there is no guy inside of his sword. What?
They were like the hollow one was like his real power or
which
something.
Which is stupid because then why isn't everyone's sword just another them?
Like are the Shinigami also hollow people? I'll be honest, this is where I lost track of what the fuck was going on.
This is like the Heartless all over again. The Heartless don't have hearts, but the Nobodies don't have hearts, but they do have bodies. I don't understand.
No, that's just a matter of terminology. It's very simple. This is actually incredibly complex and makes no sense. Heartless and Nobodies make sense, and I'll explain it to the world one day.
The promised day.
I don't quite know.
The promised day. Well, I'll do a Kingdom Hearts series, and one episode will be explaining what the fuck is going on with Heartless and Nobodies.
I don't know what the confusion is yet, but I haven't played the second in the series.
Oh yeah, it's pretty clear in the first one. I mean, the card Heartless.
In the first one, it's just like these are black guys. Kill them. Kill black guys.
Kill the black guys. It's the story of Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 1 could not have been simpler, and that was a big strength.
I know now, without a doubt, Kingdom Hearts is white.
Yeah. So I was gonna say that, like, one of the things about Bleach is that it had massive, like, in game terminology, you'd say feature creep. Like, they just kept adding, like, you could call them, they're all like mini games or just like extra like little gameplay mechanics. Like, we got the Vizards now, and we got the
it wasn't so much the different types of people, but the sheer amount of all the different types of people that just kept being relevant.
I was gonna say,
like, they were all the same amount of relevant, which is like it ended up with nobody being interesting.
Yeah, and it really is kind of like with Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, Kingdom Hearts 2 is the greatest game ever made, but Bleach does share similarities with it in that it absolutely increased complexity.
Yeah,
like every
all
time,
these like weird new power sets that don't make any sense. Like, like again, like at first,
Fullbringers still make almost no sense.
It was so simple at first. Like, they've got a sword, and then the sword turns into another sword, but then it can turn into a super sword. There's 3 stages,
and that's all. It's great. Like, Bankai's instantly in the world fell in love with Bankai's and said, "I want to see every character's Bankai." And even, that's all you needed.
Even by the end of the series, still all anyone cared about on the forums and stuff was like, "Who's we got to see everyone's Bankai before it ends? What's going to happen?" That's all anyone cares about.
That's the only thing that kept me going.
Series.
It is. And like you were saying before, like, the fact... Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're like... But then all of a sudden it's like, oh, but now Ichigo has a new power set, and he's a new kind of person, and he's a half-breed cross-Quincy Fullbringer fucking 5-time judo champion soul guy, and it's like, what's happening? He's got like a new sword, now he's got like 2 swords that are different from his original sword, so now he's got a whole new set to learn, a whole new Bankai to learn, that didn't end up doing anything anyways. He just went back to his original sword in the last fight, so what was the point of any of it?
Okay, like, to be fair, I Bleach got canceled pretty recently. The axe came down. It's like, Kubo, let's wrap this shit up in like the next 2 chapters. So like, I feel for Kubo in that I think he was building to something a little bit more than just the like, oh, I went back to my true sword. Like, I think he had a little bit more in mind, and I think he had
but
to
it
like.
also kind of is his fault for.
It is his fault for just making Bleach take the path that it did, which was fucked up.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, it really all to me comes back to like, everyone in the world agrees that the beginning of Bleach is the best part. And like you were saying, the fact that everyone has their own Zanpakuto spirit. The fact that like Zangetsu was like this weird old man on the sideways building was so interesting and compelling, and it made everyone think like, what does this say about Ichigo?
Yeah.
Especially when later you see that, and by the way, this is like the only other one we see in like the whole series, so like fuck you, Kubo, for not exploring it more. We see Renji's weird baboon snake thing, and we're like, whoa, like they don't even have to be human. Like there's so many possibilities you could do. There's so much shit you could do with that. And
like,
instead of going into the complexity,
hang
on. Yeah, instead of going to the complexity that he already built in by doing that, he's just like, no, we need more different powers. We need Fullbringers, we need Vizards, we need Hollows, we need all this shit. And it did the exact opposite of what he wanted to do. Instead of making us care more about all the peoples, because like Ichigo's got like 10 different kinds of powers, it made us care so much less because we couldn't keep track of it, and none of it felt important anymore. You know, it was a big mistake to go in that direction. He really should have just deep dived into one kind of thing. Just Zanpakuto powers, man.
Yeah, and those fights could have been just as interesting forever, just with that original set of powers. Like, once they all have their fucking Bankais, then it's just like, who's gonna train and become the best swordsman, or the best at like the Kido shit, or how do the different abilities like rock paper scissor with other opponents? Like, that's interesting. Right. But instead, it's just this fucking power creep. It's this, I don't like it. These skill trees.
You can tell that he felt that he backed himself to a corner by like giving Ichigo his Bankai so soon, and he keeps adding these caveats like, "Oh, Ichigo's Bankai wasn't at 100% because he had just gotten it," or like, shit like that. And those are fun. And I even like Vizards. I straight up like Vizards. I think crossing over between Shinigami and Hollow, I think that is cool. I think that is interesting and makes sense because Hollow and Shinigami powers are inherently linked. But after a certain point, it just gets to be too much. All the other shit. Quincy stuff. I mean, Quincy's were kind of cool. The fact that it was only, only Uryu, that was interesting. And I'm even okay with bringing in a couple more. But, what even was this, end? There was just a Quincy world the whole time? I don't even know. I completely lost track. I guess there's a Quincy world. And we just found out about it.
And all the
Quincy still don't even know
like...
what Quincy's are. I thought they were humans that destroyed demons instead of sending them along.
Shinigami are dead people. They are the opposite coin of living people. What are Quincy's? I don't know.
I thought they were just a tribe of living people who were spiritually, could see fucking, monsters, and they killed them and stuff.
And they shoot them with bows instead of swords. It was cool.
Except some of them have swords too.
But then at the end, they're fighting the Quincy's, and some of them turn into monsters. There's one of them is a giant bird chicken man. Like, what the fuck is going on? What are these creatures?
I don't know, and I don't care to know. It was too much. I couldn't keep track of it.
The best final boss was the giant Hollow, the Grand Hollow, the really tall guy with the long nose. You know that guy.
Yeah, the Menos Grande, I believe.
Yeah,
is what they're called.
Those were
they were cool.
They should have been fighting those all the time.
I mean, ever since I saw those, I've been going to Taco Bell and be like, "Hey, where's my Menos Grande? Supersize me, dog!" And they're like, "Get out of here."
And some of the Bankai reveals near the end, they just petered out and were totally dumb. Like, they introduced this character in the beginning, this guy Kenpachi, and he doesn't even know how to use his sword, but he's so strong anyways. Gosh, can you imagine if he ever figured out how to actually use his sword? What would happen? He'd be the strongest guy ever. Well, at the end of the series, he figures it out, and he fucking loses. And that's it. And that's the last you fucking see of him.
I can't even remember him using it. What
happened?
happened?
All right, dude. All right, first of all, get this. Okay, so there was this whole thing way back that people probably don't even fucking remember, but Bleach was going on for like 13 years or something. So at the beginning, when we first see Kenpachi, after he fights Ichigo and loses, there's this whole thing about like Kenpachi's Reiatsu is like, it's the biggest. Like, he's just the strongest dude. So his Reiatsu, they say at the time, is so strong that his sword is in a constantly released state. So the fact that later on, like, when we get to the end, he just, oh, no, that was wrong. He hasn't released it yet. Now we're going to. And, like, so he does this, like, Shikai release later on. And so, like, what that feels like to me is that we were cheated and lied to at the beginning of the series. All that interesting drama about how, like, Kenpachi's Zanpakuto had been unsealed because he couldn't seal it because he's so strong. Those were just lies that Kubo had told us to make us care about his character. Or really, he just, maybe he'd go that direction, or maybe he would, like, go back on it, which is what he did. That's false advertising, and the most charitable is lazy writing.
Using his Bankai. I don't remember anything.
Well, I think they did mention at the beginning that he just doesn't know its name and can't talk to it at all. Like, he has that scene where Ichigo beats him.
But that was part of the drama, dude, that even though he didn't know its name, even then, he was so strong, he couldn't help but, like, have it be released. Because he was just that strong. And it was a lie. It was a lie.
And they finally revealed this Bankai, and, like, I don't even understand what it did. It just turned his skin red and made him scarier.
He gets red and he's strong.
And then he got beat up. So what's the... And then they did that fucking thing where... what's her name? Fucking Yachiru or whatever?
Uryu. No, the Yano... Unoha or something.
It's not his sidekick. The little fucking...
Oh, Yachiru. Yeah.
That's what I said. But, they did the thing where, like...
My bad.
She disappeared, so it's like, well, maybe she was the spirit of the Zanpakuto all along, but they didn't follow up on it.
But then, nope. No, they did follow up on it, and nope. She's just somebody who's weird, and she's got her own Zanpakuto. She's just not.
Well, then why did she disappear, though? She's gone.
Because Kubo's a fucking hack. That's why.
Yeah, how does a fucking Zanpakuto have its own sword? Is that, like, such an ass pull? Like, he's so strong that it turns out even his sword has a sword.
Dude, I wish that were true, but that would have been awesome if it turned out Yachiru was the spirit of a Zanpakuto, but she's just not. And so, fuck you, Kubo. That was a cool idea, and you just completely fucked it over, and I hate you for that.
So what we have to assume, what we're left with, based on that, all we can assume is that Yachiru took her clothes off and ran off into the woods and was never seen again for no reason.
She came back, like, for a little bit to do something. I don't remember. I'm going to look it up right now. Go on, Gib, while I look this up.
I was just going to say that the idea of a guy being so powerful that his sword has a sword is just a hilarious concept. That could have been the most comedic character in the whole thing.
I agree, and I wish that's what happened.
You know what? We need to just come together as animators and make Bleak, and we'll do it right this time. We'll do how the series should have been.
We'll have real skeletons.
We just, that's what it was missing all along.
It was missing
like
those
live action,
those Ray Harryhausen stop motion Sinbad skeletons. That's what it needed.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, it says that Yachiru appears to Kenpachi in the fucking wiki. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this character. Who cares? She's dead.
Do you remember seeing that, like, that image, info image thing that was, like, trying to explain everything that's going on in Bleach, and it was, like, a huge thing, and it just kept scrolling and scrolling. I still don't get it.
And I remember there were these pretty cool power charts that people had put together that showed, like, like the different abilities that individual characters have, and like it all funnels to eventually talk about like Ichigo at his peak, like at the end of, when he turns like black and he does like the I am Zangetsu, he does like the final release or whatever. Like at that moment, he had like 10 different powers from like 10 different things all at once, or maybe it wasn't then. It was later after he gets his Fullbringer, whatever. The point is, it's like cool to think about what abilities are going on with the characters, but the problem is Kubo never does anything with any of them interesting other than like this guy is stronger than that guy, and it's obvious, and that's
the only thing that happens with the abilities is to show them off in a battle, and then the character's just sitting around forever. And it's almost as bad as Fairy Tail, but at least the art looks nice.
By the way, Remember how Grimjaw just showed up again?
Oh,
After
yeah.
being gone for years. Remember that? I remember that. I'm never going to forget
He's got
that.
blue hair. He's cool. I like him. Bring it back.
He was cool, but didn't he fucking die? I mean,
Yeah.
I thought he did.
Also, wasn't he like a bad guy or something? Why did he like suddenly show up to help Urahara?
Every shonen rule, everyone who gets beat up by the hero who doesn't die becomes good. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
Vegeta's-
It doesn't work outside of Dragon Ball Z most of the time. They just don't know how to do it.
Also, why was Kurasuchi never executed for his millions of crimes against humanity? Like, it kind of rubs me the wrong way that he's, like, still allowed to be a Soul Reaper at the end of the series, considering he, like, mass tortured, like, thousands upon thousands of innocent people. He's, like, the biggest monster in the entire series. He's worse than Aizen.
You're talking about 12 Captain, Science Man.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
He's the worst villain in the whole series, but, like...
yeah. Kinda.
But because, like, I guess, like, the Soul Society is just so corrupt to the core, no one minds. No
Dude,
one
I'll tell you
says
what it
anything
is.
about it.
I'll tell you what it is. It's just that I just don't remember that he committed. Like, I just don't remember what he did, and yet he's still around doing things. So I guess it wasn't a big deal.
Like, remember, like, early on when Uryu fought him, and he's like, "I promise
Yeah.
you, I will kill you one day." But then again, I guess not. See you later, guy.
He's kind of flippant about that shit. He
like,
doesn't really care.
It's just like, I guess, like, people like him because he says cool things while he tortures people and kills them. So he's,
You know, he was kind of cool in that he fought people with science knowledge instead of, Zanpakuto
There was that one
shit.
that
was cool.
that one fight when he was fighting the Science Arankar guy in Hyokomondo.
That was a great fight. When he
like
trapped
that.
him in an infinite torment of Nightmare Land, that was pretty dope.
of like
I did
super
like
slow
that.
motion.
yeah, but he probably, like, practiced that technique on, like, orphans and shit.
That's so true. He definitely
Yeah.
did. He definitely did. Man, yeah, good point. That's a hell worse
He
than death.
bribes all the policemen with his fashion money.
He makes them
nobody
sex
cares.
clones.
I mean, he made that bitch. That remember at one point. In fact, after that exact fight, there's like his lieutenant, like the clearly like she's like a
Nemu?
flesh golem or whatever, Nemu or whatever. Yeah,
Pingu.
whatever whatever her name is. His flesh golem number 2. She like comes over to him and does what is clearly implied to be has sex with him right then and there, and then like he's suddenly healed, and it's like awesome. That's not even a criticism. I just love it. That's the coolest thing. He's the only character in the whole series who has sex. And he's
The whole
worse than
time.
Hitler.
That makes me
Not
mad.
even
Every
one
character should be
person.
having sex constantly. When I
Renji
make
and
my
Rukia
manga,
should be having sex all the time. Yeah.
Renji should be sexing Rukia with his fucking snake baboon.
Whoa. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say sword, but no. Okay, yeah. Just the
With
baboon,
his
that's fine.
Bankai. That's a
He
The
puts on
giant
the
snake
snake
thing.
baboon suit and goes to
He does the mating dance. Do you think
With
Rukia is kind
maracas.
of a frigid in bed?
No way. I think she lets loose.
She's got an icy sword, but she's hot. She melts.
Yeah, she melts in your mouth, but not in your hands.
Man, this is just shit on Bleach for an hour, the podcast. I was going to try to bring in some
You
positive
know what
things.
also didn't make sense?
Yeah, what's that?
Fucking Kiriko's genius plan to make Kenpachi learn his Shikai or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, turns out Unohana is like the strongest, most badass person ever.
First of all, never bought it for a second.
So
It was
Kenpachi,
retarded.
you kill
Yeah.
her in the vain hope that maybe you'll get stronger.
Yeah.
Lock the two of you in a room, and you're not allowed to come out until she's dead because she's the strongest. And because that's my plan. Because I'm the leader now. I'm a smart
the
man.
thing was
I don't.
the thing
I don't-
that
yeah, again,
wasn't it
please
like,
try to explain this.
There's one thing that I
That's
think
where I started to
remember-
lose it. That's where
that
it
one-
began.
Well, I don't know whether I feel like that was planned because I've heard that in interviews he says he likes the idea. Kubo likes the idea of bad guys looking like good guys and good guys looking like bad guys. So the idea that the sweet captain was actually a fucking crazy person.
Maybe.
And the fact
she did
that
have that
all the-
really weird hairstyle, which did turn out to be sort of relevant. So that's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
like that part of it was cool, but I just don't understand,
Yeah.
like, why couldn't she train him without dying?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that
like
I guess he just wanted to get rid of her because she never did anything.
He never
ever.
was like,
liked
yeah,
her.
she
He
never
just-
did anything.
He just personally didn't like her.
she So, like, she fought him when he was a kid, and, like, he was the only person ever to, like, wound her or something. So, like, he had to kill her to, like, realize...
Like she was, like, he had to
get as strong as he was when he was, like, 9 by killing her, and that would do something somehow. It was terrible writing. Kubo's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know how to write a manga.
He's a bad man. He's
a very bad man. He just, man, God, like, just...
He touched my suspension of disbelief in all the inappropriate places.
He really did. It's always said, but I can't even fully describe how hype I was at the end of the Soul Reaper arc when the Soul Society arc when Aizen reveals it was me, Austin, it was me all along, and God, that honestly, when he sweeps his hair back and takes off his glasses.
He turns from a nerd into a cool.
Yeah, that was like the coolest thing that ever happened in any anime I had ever seen. Just that hair, and like he had all these plans he had done, and like he's strong. He did like Keto 99 or Hado 99 or whatever. He's like stronger than everybody. It was the cool. And then up in the sky, we see the sky crack open and this giant eye look out, and it's like, holy shit, what is this guy planning? Where is this gonna go from here?
Wait, what was that eye?
It's a shitty monster we see a while later who just fucking dies. Like, it should have been like the king of the hollows. It was just some big hollow. It sucked.
Oh.
It's gay. Yeah, it was never... And Aizen stayed cool, kind of. He was never intended to be the actual main villain. It was originally going to be... what's his face? The guy with the little dingly thing on the end of his head bobber, that killed his mom. Grand Fisher.
Grand Fisher. Yeah.
It was going to be Grand Fisher.
Yeah, whatever happened to that guy?
He got killed by Ichigo's dad.
Okay.
But the dad wasn't mad. He was like, I understand you killed my wife. NBD, dog. NBD. Yeah, never really... I'd be mad.
It's a weird thing that's like, there's so much happens. Like, characters die and things, but I can't remember any of it. I barely remembered that something happened to Ichigo's dad, and that's why he's not around. Did he die? Who did he die to? I forgot.
That was revealed a while later. Like, he gave his power to Ichigo's mom, because she was a Quincy, and, she got attacked by a hollow.
He was around at the beginning. Ichigo's dad was around, and then he died sometime. But, like, the fact that...
He didn't die? What are you talking about? He died? What?
I think he died to give... Ichigo the power to defeat Aizen the first time, or something. Like when he went black hair.
Yeah, no, he didn't die. They were just training. Wait, did he really die? I gotta look this up.
I don't think we saw him since. He wasn't in the last chapter.
I'm googling this shit. You're right. I was gonna say I thought it was weird that he wasn't in the last chapter. If he fucking died, man, I missed that shit.
Like, yeah, but the fact that like we're confused about it is, and I can't really remember properly, is indicative of how shitty it feels. Like it's just like all this stuff that's supposed to be hard hitting, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, all this like promise and like potential, and it just peters out into this long, goopy, fucking like soup through a straw.
It's just like drinking a bleach.
Bleach up my
ass. A little umbrella in it.
You know what bothered me, and was just one of the big signs, I mean, honestly, this was really late, but it was just something that always annoyed me, was that it turned out, and this was never really explained, but there were kind of some implications about what was going on. So, like, when Ichigo first gets his powers from Rukia, the sword just, like, appears in his hand, kind of out of nowhere, and maybe it was Rukia's sword? I don't know, he kind of just, like, gets his own sword, it just sort of happens. And that was really cool. And then later on, like, it evolves into, like, his big sword that's, like, his release or whatever, and all that was cool. But then later in the series, we find out that there's this one hip-hop dude who makes those swords, and he gives them to people, and then they just kind of, like, grow into them, and they just kind of imprint themselves.
What was that shit?
I thought it was much cooler that, like, every Shinigami just has a sword.
They built it up like they manifested from inside the people, which is why they were based so heavily on like their personalities and shit, which is why they were interesting. And then he just pulls this fucking hip hop guy out of his ass and says, "I made him."
That whole area up in the fucking sky, there's like the heaven of heaven or whatever.
The Sky King's palace.
Yeah, they're like it's weird that how they're just mortal like everyone else. Like, they can be killed by a guy with a big, powerful weapon.
I do like that, because they're all... In fact, the fact that they were, what do they call it? God, Gote Zero or something? Because, like, they had all been captains who were just, like, too fucking good. So they had to go up above, and,
But they all died, or something. Something happened.
I honestly...
They lost.
You know who was cool among those, though? The best one was that lady who was captain of Squad 12 before, oh god, Ukitake? No, like the Urahara. So there was the captain of 12 who leaves, and she was like science lady. She was this weird moon science lady who we finally meet, and she was so cool, and then she just does like nothing. And that, that's really the story of Bleach. A million characters show up, and then they all do nothing.
And then Ichigo does it.
And then Ichigo just does it.
Ichigo does it.
Like, oh god. It feels so wrong. Things just went so wrong at some point.
I hate that they have kids. That was the dumbest thing. That made me roll my eyes. It's only been 10 years.
Yeah.
So what did they just immediately start making? Who the fuck? Why does Japan promote fucking teenagers having kids?
I'll tell you why. It's because their population is going down the tubes. They need to encourage fucking on a massive scale. They want to. There's a serious push in Japan.
The last chapters of shonen mangas. That's how they do it.
Yeah, if they sell you on a happy ending is to get married and have kids, I'm just telling you, that's in sync with Japan's current policy.
I don't care about Ichigo's brat. I don't care about Rukia's fuck trophy. Who gives a shit? And why is Rukia's kid a Soul Reaper? That doesn't make any... you could just be a Soul Reaper? The fucking kid cannot be older than 9 years old.
Does anyone understand the rules? Okay, because, when you die... Rukia didn't start off as a Soul Reaper, right? So... When you die, you either become a hollow if you're an evil person, or if you got regrets or whatever, or you go to Soul Society, and when you're there, you can, because you all start out in the shit place. But if you're really good, if you have strong spiritual pressure, you can move up and become a Shinigami, which is what Rukia did. So
yeah, there was a whole
and there's there's a revolving door of souls that just go back and forth. But how do you become a human again? How does that happen? Do you have to die as a Soul Reaper?
Yeah, I thought it was explained once that when a Soul Reaper dies, he just becomes a new human. He gets reincarnated or something.
I missed that day in class.
Why are Soul Reaper people even able to have children if that's also where dead people go?
Where's that soul coming from?
So people are being born there and dead people are going there. Wouldn't it have a massive overpopulation problem?
I don't fucking know.
I find it hard to believe that after all that stuff that happened, Rukia just immediately fucking spread him and said, "Put a baby in me."
Well,
now that the guy is dead, the bad guy is dead. I want to start popping out kids.
Dude, it's been 10 years. Even after 1 year, I'd probably be fine. I don't really think that's that big of a... I don't... Like I was saying... I remembered the ending felt very much like Naruto's ending, where they just they show all the new kids, we're the new.
It's stupid. No one should ever have kids ever. I hate children. Right. They shouldn't exist.
I just realized, why is Ichigo's son a Shinigami already, and how?
That's what I was saying.
Because you was talking about Rukia's kid, but
I hate
Ichigo's,
them both.
but Ichigo got his powers
Wait
by
a minute, guys.
stabbed.
Hang on. We have to establish. So, okay, what actually happened is those guys were born. They went to visit Hip Hop Man. He gave them little baby swords for them to imprint themselves onto. They then carried those swords with them all the time until they made an impression on them and developed their Shinigami powers. Because as we know now, as wise Bleach readers, that's how you actually get a Shinigami now. You have to visit Hip Hop Man and get yourself a magic sword.
It just seems really annoying to me that they would give a 9-year-old kid and just say, you're a Soul Reaper now. Even with, the Soul Reapers who looked like kids, like Yachiru or Toshiro, they looked like kids, but you could at least, you'd think, well, they just look like kids. They're actually, 100 years old, right?
Of course.
But this kid is literally a fucking baby. And what are the standards for the Soul Reaper Academy?
The standards are Naruto ended, now there's ninja babies.
Is this just cronyism? Is because Ruki is a captain now?
Yes.
She can, skirt the rules and deem her child a Soul Reaper?
Well,
that's
she's
irresponsible
an assistant,
parenting. He's gonna get eaten by a fucking Grand Fisher because he's a baby. He doesn't know how to wield that fucking sword. It's too big for his arms.
All right. All right. I'm going to tell you the harsh reality, Jesse.
No!
When Naruto ends, you get ninja baby kids. When Bleach ends, you get little Shinigami kids. And and One Piece, when it ends, we will get little rubber pirate kids. That's just how it works. It's going to happen. We can't fight against the tide of fate.
They're born as pirates.
They're all wearing
fucking hats on and the. God, I hate Japan. I hate them.
2 nukes was too few. We gotta finish the job.
You know, like at the end of Evangelion when they had all those Eva babies.
Yeah.
When Asuka started popping out robots.
Oh my God, Ray. I don't know. Ray was naked. That counts.
Ray, I don't know. Nobody knows.
Oh my God. Okay, let's take a break and let's now talk about the good things that came of or that we remember from Bleach. I've got some. I loved several of the opening and ending songs from Bleach. The first one's great. That one, Hanabi, is great.
I forget, but you sure.
It's like Dabi Wabu Da Suzu.
Yeah.
At least I think that's the one. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of good ones, and I liked it. Bleach was one of the first series that I watched when I got into anime.
In its heyday was so stylish. It was like nothing else, man. It was the coolest.
It's because Kubo's a fashion man at heart, and I'm excited for his future as a fashion designer. It's gonna be great.
Oh, maybe he'll
People
join
want
Square
his shit.
Enix and start working on Final Fantasy.
Oh no! It's the worst possible fate. This is the darkest timeline. Kubo, you need to go back to Bleach. Make detergent. Just keep pumping them out. Wait, what's Nirvana's next album? He needs to make Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Never mind. Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah, never mind, Kubo. Don't do that. Make something else. Oh God! Imagine the things that Kubo could produce with Tetsuya Nomura if they teamed up. The kind of belts, the kind of zippers,
they could make an anime so bad it would destroy the world. It would cleanse the earth in fire, cleanse it in bleach.
We need it. We need that.
I do like Kubo's artwork, and the fact that he managed
His color
to
spreads
do.
are gorgeous for sure.
He managed to do like a different little version of the number of the chapter in each chapter, which I thought was.
Oh yeah, that was always a cool little detail. Yeah,
I did like that.
It's just a little. He's a good artist. I'm just sad about it.
That is definitely true. Let's talk about that. How good his art is, and I think just as a consequence of that, he probably spent so much time on it. He, infamously wasn't one to spend too much time focusing on backgrounds, but his character designs really always looked great and were some of the best in all of Shonen Jump. Incidentally, I'm just thinking about the art, and I always think of this one when I think about good art, especially Rukia in their little devil costume here for this Halloween spread. But, oh God, look at Toshiro spreading his legs like a fucking slut. You're disgusting. You sick. He's a child, Kubo. He's a child. He's fucked up.
Who's the person in the little orange thing at the top?
Orihime as a little plumpkin. I assume. What else was good? I'm trying to think of. You know what was cool?
He had ginger hair. That's unusual.
That was crazy. Remember at the beginning when he had to defend himself from bullies because his hair was a weird color, just because his mom had weird hair color. I
remember this one point,
Chad.
this one part where, that bit, but the thing he said, I think he was he just got his phone out and he started calling an ambulance, and he said before he started fighting them, he said he's counting how many people there were.
Oh yeah, that
and I was like,
so cool.
that's such a badass thing to do, and he never really did another cool thing like that again.
He lost the bad boy thing fast. He
just became what's all this Shinigami stuff? And then he was a deer in the headlights for the rest of the whole series.
Yeah, there's not much to say about Ichigo's personality, unfortunately. He was very... I gotta do it. I gotta do it. That's what he said every chapter. Remember that time, guys, when he stood around and watched because like he was the only one not under Aizen's Shikai control. Remember that time when he stood around and watched them stab the lieutenant of Squad 5 in the back because they thought it was Aizen? Remember when that happened? I remember when that happened. That was awesome,
but
Ichigo.
I can vaguely remember.
Like, he's just standing there like, what are these guys doing? As, like, I forget who teleported behind and just fucking stabbed Hana through her stomach. Man, that was brutal. What an asshole. Say something, goddammit. And then afterward, he's like, guys, what are you doing, guys? Fuck you, Ichigo, you piece of shit.
You stupid idiot. You're the worst guy of all. You ruined it.
You know what was cool, though? Kubo's favorite character was always Rangiku, just because she was a big, fat-titted bitch. And I respect him immensely
sure
for that.
Is.
That's all there is to say. The porn out... Oh, you know what was great about Bleach? The porn. There is great porn of Bleach out there. Of Rukia, there's some good Flash made by Zone. Rukia's got a lot of porn. Or Hime actually doesn't have a lot of porn now that I think about it. But really, it's Rangiku. Oh, and Yorichiru. Yorichiru? The black cat.
one.
The black cat. She is the sexiest girl in all of Bleach. Oh my god, I forgot this amazing doujin I read when I was a kid. All about her, and she was naked, and they were taking a bath in the hot springs. Oh my god, it was so sexy. It was amazing. It was the coolest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. Thank you, Kubo. I thank you every single day for making Yachiru, or whatever the fuck her name was, Yoichiro. She's the coolest. Oh my god.
Yoichiro.
I don't think that's
She was the
even
best.
close to her name.
I'm... Whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna Google black chick.
This
Bleach.
is what Bleach really is. This is the legacy of Bleach. A series of like pretty images that no one remembers the name of any of the characters.
Yoruichi Shihoin.
There it is.
Yoruichi, that's the one. Yoruichi was the best character. And you know what was cool? She would just show up. Not even she's a Shinigami, but she doesn't even need her sword.
She doesn't even give a
just
shit.
gets like weapons from Urahara and just punches people and they fucking die.
All she needs to
It was
be
awesome.
is naked. Beat people
That's
up.
right. She gains
Dude,
her power from
what
being
if she was having inner porn?
And she
right?
could just turn into a cat for some reason.
That's what
Never
I was-
explained. Oh yeah, go
but
on.
what if she did that while somebody had a penis in her, and then they would be
Whoa.
fucking her pussy?
Well, they'll say
It'll
they'll
be a
be
double-
fucking the
double.
pussy.
It'll
well,
be a
they'll just
double.
say the line that everyone says about that: "A cat is fine too."
They
That's
say
a
that?
meme. That's an A meme. Because there's this
That's
doujin about
a meme.
there's a doujin about a dude like chasing some lolly or something, and he's gonna fuck her, and then she just turns into a cat, and she's like, "Ha, I've got you now," and he's just like, "A cat is fine too, dog. I'm raw dogging this shit."
Whoa.
He's raw dogging this cat. Yes.
Well.
So Bleach is done. So
And
Naruto's
so
been
we.
dead for a while. And I don't even count the new thing as Bleach as Naruto because it sucks. Bleach has kind of been out of the big three for a while.
Has it? I've always considered it still part of the big three.
I know we do, but if you keep up on like the Shonen Jump scene, like Ichigo does not show up in like the big like whenever they show like the main characters of Shonen Jump, it's always Luffy, and then Toriko a lot of the time, and then like there's another spot is kind of just open for debate, but it's not Ichigo. Like he doesn't make it into the top ranks anymore, and it's because this thing was less popular, obviously. So like,
Are you talking about like the covers?
Well, I'm talking about the popularity of series, in Shonen
yes.
Jump. Because, like there was this whole thing about Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, because they were by far the most popular series, at least in America, but also in Japan. They just sold the best, and they lasted the longest. And they were always in the cover of everything. Bleach has faded away. Naruto is done. Naruto retired pretty much at the top, but One Piece is actually the top and has been for a long time. But I'm interested to see if something will rise to take its place, or if maybe they're not going to do as long-running series anymore. I mean, Toriko is ending pretty soon, so that'll be like only One Piece will remain as like a big long-running thing. I guess Food Wars. Oh, no, that's in a different magazine. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying the legacy of Bleach is coming to an end, and it just fills me with wonder about what the future holds, especially for shonen manga.
Well, it's hard to think about what's going to happen, because when it first came out, when Naruto and Bleach were big, when they were coming out. We were like teenagers. We didn't know what the scene was like. We didn't understand what had come before. We didn't really know anything about all that shit.
True.
And now that it's been going for so many years, like, there's not really any way you can predict. There's no reason that this should be the way it continues. There's no reason there's always going to be a big 3. It could just be that One Piece is the best forever and everyone loves it for years to come.
Yeah. Well, that is
and then
definitely true.
When that ends, there might not even be anything to come and take up the mantle of the best one. Best shonen.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's really dawned on me lately that, like, I mean, One Piece is read mostly by, like, 40% of the One Piece readers are between, like, 18 and 25, or, like, 18 and 30 or something. So, like, most people read it, but everything in Shonen Jump isn't made for, like, a 26-year-old man like me. Like, I don't even fit in that category anymore. I'm, like, older than that now. And it just, like, they're appealing to kids with this shit. And, like, when I think about, like, over the years, I've gained a lot of knowledge about shonen, and, like, I'm able to recognize tropes. And, like, I could read a series like Bleach from the start now, and I'd pretty well, Bleach took a lot of twists and turns, but for the most part, I'd be able to know, like, where it's generally going. And so, like, there's not a lot of mystery in it. The mystery lies in, like, the specifics of, like, oh, what's the Bankai going to be? Like, what are the in-universe, surprises and twists going to be? But, like, if you don't buy into that as much, which I'm doing less and less, I notice it myself, like, less shonen have that kind of, like, instant grab on me these days. But like, I'm not the people they're trying to get to buy the magazines in Japan to, like, you know, fund Shonen Jump. They're trying to get, like, 10-year-old boys, or, like, 12-year-old boys in Japan. Because Shonen Jump, I don't think it's even sold outside of Japan.
I do think that, like, there's a lot of people in your similar situation. Like, they grew up on shonen manga, and they're like,
we're like the first generation, and then, like, raised on this shit.
I guess. I'm not sure.
I'm talking about shonen manga. Well, maybe not.
But, like, there's clearly going to be, like, people making cool stuff for our demographic. Like, not just for our demographic, but people of our demographic can enjoy. I mean, Steven Universe is a stretch, but it's that sort of, like,
that's
it's really
just
cool.
for the gay demographic, though.
You know what I mean, though? It's like it's like an action show, but it's also, like, got a lot of themes that
or of course,
resonate with people of any age.
Classic example is My Little Pony, which, you know, is for little girls, but not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad. Well, I was going to say something else. Forget it.
Well, if it comes to you, you can say it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested as I'm getting older, I'm taking more and more notice that, like, there are things, and it'll sound obvious.
I know what I was going to say. All
okay,
right.
Go ahead.
I think that the things that we like in One Piece that still are cool.
Yeah.
Is, like, the willingness to not take itself so seriously. Because, like, when we were younger, we enjoy things that are, like, serious and, like, really emo and dark.
Have you guys seen Elfen Lied? It's the best anime I've ever seen.
Yeah, and when you get older, you're like, that's stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, if something is, like, deliberately stupid in that sort of cool way,
kind
like,
of
if a new show came up and it was, like, it was more literally just a bunch of skeletons and a guy with a cool sword and a bunch of guys with cool swords killing skeletons, and that was all it was. Then,
I mean, first of all, it'd be the best thing of all time. But
yeah,
besides
exactly.
that...
It's like it doesn't care about being a serious thing. It just has all the cool, fun action that we liked from stuff like Bleach.
Yeah,
and that's cool. I like stuff like that.
As long as
I want to make stuff like that.
I agree. Though I have slightly loftier aspirations. Well, not I don't want to say loftier, but I want to use entertainment to educate people and to control the destiny of humanity to make it better and smarter and cooler. Those are my goals in life. I'm surprised that we got to a place where I could say that in this Bleach podcast. It's utterly shit. But
I want to lick Rukia's butthole. I want to put my tongue right between her butt cheeks. I want to lick her anus. And then I want to put my
inside
whole
or hot?
fist inside of her butt And then I wanna raise my fist in the air, like at the end of the Breakfast Club, with her swiveling on my arm like a lazy Susan.
And as you remove it and gaze at that permanently wide hole, you'll say, "Don't you forget about me, Rukia." And she won't. She'll never be able to. By the way, I'm looking at this Halloween thing again, and I'm just noticing that Kubo took the time to deliberately draw Rangiku's nipple sticking through her thing. And, that's really what I respect about Kubo at the end of the day. The fact that he would take the effort to do that, to clearly draw the nipple visible through her outfit. 10 out of 10.
Why do ghosts have nipples, anyway?
Shinigami aren't ghosts. They're Japanese samurais of the dead. Wait, actually, I guess they are, literally death gods. Oh, yeah, death god. It means death god. But gods are like ghosts, so you're right. Never mind.
Why is the afterlife so weirdly based on, Japanese culture? Why was
you
it,
don't get
all
it.
Irish people?
The real world is based off of the afterlife. The Japanese are the ones that got it right.
Yeah, everyone else fucked it up. Okay, I actually think that sort of makes sense, and it's because Shinigami inherently are a Japanese concept. So it makes sense for, their culture to be Japanese, where all the Shinigami are from, which are a very specific thing. These are Japanese death gods.
You know what would have been really cool?
Was that?
I know it would have been another new set of things, but wouldn't it be cool if there was more than just, the Japanese death god as Shinigami area, and then there was
Quincy guys who are German.
No, but what I mean is you go over to another realm and it's it's the European all that old Viking stuff,
cool.
What's it called, Valhalla. You go there, you see these big fat guys with beards and ale. And you're like, yeah, but they have swords, but they don't have swords. They have axes with names.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that show.
And then they'd be cool, but then there'll be more characters and more things, and I'll be like, oh no, that's too many.
Well, I mean, if it was still just the gimmick of Zanpakuto's, Toes, just I mean, they could call it that, or they could give it a different name, but it's the same thing. That doesn't clutter things at all. That's just the same shit. They just new powers, That's no worse. I think that's the sort of thing I'd prefer over Fullbringers or just whatever. Quincy's, new Quincy's with magic Quincy's. There's the old Quincy's, then we got the new Quincy's.
I'm gonna nuke
bullshit.
Quincy's right now. I think we're tired of this topic. Bleach sucks, but it was kind of good once. At the end.
I think that pretty much sums it up. I think I'll miss Bleach a little bit, mostly because I found Bleach at a time in my life when I was first really getting into anime. I might even have watched it before I got into One Piece in a big way. But it was all around that time when I watched every anime I could find in high school, and it really, really made a strong impression on me. And so on that basis, I'm glad Bleach existed. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I'm glad it was around. It introduced me. It's kind of like a decent starter anime. You just can't have too high expectations for what it's going to do. I would recommend people who haven't read Bleach, go read the first, to the end of the first arc, when Ichigo wins, he gets his Bankai and wins, and then just make up your own ending. Just skip to the last 2 chapters because you're done. Don't even worry about it. But I think that first part's worth reading if you're into shonen. I like it. Ruki is cool. Ichigo's cool. No, Ichigo's actually not cool. Only Ruki is cool. Renji was cool. Renji and Rukia deserve their own series.
Yeah.
That's it.
Put my whole fist right up her bunghole.
Okay, that's it. We're done talking about Bleach. Thanks for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be working right now. I'm supposed to be working right now. But I'm not working. I'm doing nothing. My dick I'm jerking. Myself I'm sucking. I am an asshole.
supposed to be making money. I'm supposed to be creating funny things that the people gladly will pay for. Artistic genius, that's what they came for. Instead, I'm tweeting, hashtag repeating. That's why there's no heat and holes in the ceiling. Yeah, it's quite the burden. It's a hard knock life being a genius.